It's not James lesson coming back at you. Before I do get to this lesson, I want to start by giving the honor, glory, and praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rashakadash. Excuse me. Next up, the one small apostles, elders, great millstone. Thank you. The purpose. Shout out to next up, double honors to my apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone, told me the 100% truth of the Bible and who rule well. Peace, love, salutations to all the brothers across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and all diligence and sincerity. Once again, it's the brother Shawai from the GMS North Carolina Church out here in Raleigh, able to put together a little well edifying lesson, right? And as we're gonna get into, right, really, recompense is coming, man. Recompense is coming, right? As a matter of fact, let's get that word recompense, right? And chiefly, recompense is coming to you other nations, right? Outside of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. Recompense, payback is coming to you heathen nations, chiefly Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. So we're going to be talking about Sleazy E a lot, but we're not going to forget about these heathens as well. But let's jump right into it. Let's get the word recompense, right? Recompense, right? To give something to by way of compensation, as for a service rendered or damage incurred. And what they damaged us, they dealt treacherously with us. So when you say recompense in this manner, it'd be like, oh, let's say if I, backed into your car, you know what I'm saying? The money that I paid for those damages that I did would be that recompense, would be that payback, right? But in the spiritual sense of what we're talking about, these heathens have dealt treacherously against the Israelites, man. The apple of the Lord's eye. So guess what? In the same like manner of violence that they've dealt treacherously with us, we're gonna deal back with them, man. Thus saith the Lord, thus saith the Bible. Let's see. To return in kind, right? To return in kind, right? We're gonna get that as well in Isaiah 14, verses 1 and 2, right? And they shall, oppress their oppressors, right? Or something along those lines. But Lord willing, we'll get it. An equivalent or a return for something done, suffered, or given, right? They have troubled us, right? Now we're gonna get Lord's willing, and then what's that? First Thessalonians 1 and 6, right? They have troubled us, right? And we're gonna pay it back in kind. But the scriptures don't say we're gonna pay them back as they done to us. The scriptures speak about we're gonna render unto this place double, right? So what? That's why that 1,000 year period that we speak about of prophecy, um, that the heathens are gonna serve hardcore slavery, right? To the Israelites, right, for 1,000 long, drawn out years. That's where that comes from. That's where that comes from the scriptures. Everything we say is thus saith the Lord, thus saith the Bible, right? Let me see. Hmm. What was it, 6? Yep, yep, yep. Mm, all right. Now I'm gonna just start verse 4, Revelation 18 and 4. And I heard another voice, right, from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she ha- rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she have filled to her double." So what? 500 years of hardcore slavery after the transatlantic slave trade, we're gonna render unto her double, right? Esau Edom, chiefly Esau Edom, the so-called white man, right? Had us down in hardcore slavery. We're gonna and just the overall treachery and how these heathens, because all these heathens have had a hand in our downfall, some shape, form, or fashion. So what they're gonna receive, they're gonna be joined in as well, right? But there's gonna be a difference, though. We're gonna get into that, right? So let me get something through. That's why, because you read this has come up out of her, my people, right? Talking about the elect, right? because this place is going to be destroyed even with a sword destruction. We're kind of skipping around a bit, but it's okay. This is Micah 2 and 10, and it reads, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest." So, hey, when we read, "Come up out of her, my people," right? That was talking about the elect, those who were going to be delivered, those who are going to be saved from the destruction of this place over here in the Americas, right? And because what? America is going to be destroyed with 200 million ICBM nuclear warheads that are going to touch down here and lay the land desolate, right? The weapons of the Lord's indignation, right? Um, but what? So they're going to be delivered from that destruction. They're going to be delivered from that hell because what? Before that destruction, before all this hell ensues, before Jacob's trouble, they took heed to scriptures like this: "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest." So spiritually, right now, the elect are doing what? They're removing themselves from this place. Right? They're removing themselves. That's what the scriptures say. "Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and therefore put on the armor of light." The elect is putting on the armor of light, which is this truth, which is this wisdom, this knowledge, this understanding, which is needed to be stable in these upcoming times, and what is needed to ultimately be. And it says in the Isaiah 33 and 6, 33 and 6, "For wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times," right? "And strength of salvation." So our salvation is predicated off this wisdom, knowledge, understanding of Yahweh by Shimon I was shy, man, right? It reads Micah 2 and 10, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted." So this place, this world, right? In general, this whole world is moving in a vibration of wickedness, but the epicenter of wickedness here on the earth is here in the Americas, the US of A. Right, and it reads, "This is not your rest." So this place is not our rest. We should not be getting comfy here. We should not be grieved at all that this place is going down the shitter, man. Right, because this place is a prison to us, man. Right, this is where we served our sentence to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. This place is not our rest. This is not the end all be all for Israel, man. It reads, "Because it is polluted, it shall," because it is polluted. How is it polluted? It's polluted by the blood of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Right? It's polluted by the food, the chemtrails, right? The everything, the philosophies, the ways of the people, everything is polluted here, right? And the reason, "It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction." So we read that Revelation 18, it says, "Be not partakers in her sins," right? So don't be following after the ways of this world, and be not partakers of her plagues, because the Lord said he's bringing plagues upon the world: the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And it's going to be 100, wherever you see going on in the rest of the world, it's going to be 100 times worse here in America, and I'm underselling it, man. We undersell it when we say that, because it's going to be a time like never before seen on the face of the earth, right? So how this place goes out, if you're found hand in hand with this place, if you're found pushing the will of this, if you're found, joint in with the world and the world's way, you're going to be destroyed right along with it, man. So that was a lot to say, but hey, let's get it. The spirit is moving. So let's jump back. Where we back? We go back to Obadiah, right? And this won't be long. Um, let's get Obadiah 1. Well, it's only one chapter, but one, we're gonna jump straight to it, right? It reads, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever." So now going back to that point, Esau Edom, his judgment gonna be a little different than the rest of these heathens. We're gonna dig in a little bit deeper when we jump to verse 15. But it says, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob." If you don't know, which hey, we in 2025, but wait, our people are still waking up, might not know Jacob and Esau. Jacob is the so-called progenitor, not Slack it, is the progenitor of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. Esau, Edom, the so-called, is the progenitor of the so-called white man, right? The white races, right nation, the white so-called white nations, of the world, right? And they were twin brothers, right? So it says, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee." And what? Who has dealt more treacherously towards the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans than Esau Edom, than the so-called white man? Nobody, man. Yeah, these other heathens treat us pretty bad, treat us shitty, but no one takes the cake like Esau Edom, the so-called white man, right? And we know that, and our people know that just from this small sample size of a time here in America, right? Because this devil has been at our necks, at our throats since he made that covenant with himself, right? Back in Genesis 27 and 41, right? That he was going to what? Slay his brother Jacob, right? So, hey, and it says, and for that he shall be cut off forever, man. So when we read that, render unto her double, right? So what? We serve 500 years of hardcore slavery here, right? After this devil serves 1,000 years of hardcore slavery, excuse me, after this devil, uh, with the rest of the heathens, this devil's going to be cut off, man. And we're going to read that more when we get to verse 15. But hey, look, just for time's sake, I'm gonna cut it out right there. But I'm gonna, Lord willing, do a part two, to it. So hey, Lord's willing, stay tuned. Till next time, I say, Shalom, peace and love to the elect.